So, hello everyone, my name is Baltariu, and today I will be uncovering how crypto scammers are streamjacking popular YouTube channels. First of all, I'd like to mention some details about me. So, I'm a software engineer and technical lead at Bitdefender, based in Romania. At Bitdefender, I'm involved in the development of digital identity protection products while also working on internal automation projects. My latest interests are directed in the areas of social media threats and malicious advertising. I'm also a laboratory assistant at the Technical University of Iași, teaching service-oriented programming and databases. And last but not least, I'm an author on the Bitdefender blogs, having contributed to articles in which we analyzed the streamjacking phenomenon, as we will see today, and various malicious advertising campaigns. We will start by defining what account takeovers are, then we will dive in the world of YouTube account takeovers and streamjacking. Furthermore, we will learn about one of the threat groups that might be behind the phenomenon, finishing with protection, prevention, and detection advice, while also reaching for the conclusions. So, what is an account takeover? We can just simply define it as the action in which a malicious actor gains unauthorized access to the account of a user, using it to commit malicious activities, such as conducting scams or propagating malware. But how can someone gain unauthorized access to your accounts? And the common thing to do for hackers is just to use leaked information and credentials for either gaining access to digital accounts or just conducting future phishing campaigns. Phishing and spear phishing, which can be thought as a ultra-targeted phishing attempt, are also used by malicious actors to gain the login credentials of an account. Hackers usually clone pages of famous platforms and deliver them in specially crafted messages or emails that have a sense of urgency, so that the users do not have the time for doubt. In this example image, we have a phishing page specially crafted for Facebook users, which feels legitimate and is likely to trick untrained people, as it mentions that the account has been restricted, and it also asks for personal information. Another way through which the hackers can gain valuable credentials of digital accounts is by spreading malware. This can be done via email or just delivered through untrusted platforms and malicious advertisements. And as an example, we have a malicious social media ad that promises the download of a free Netflix desktop application, while, in fact, it was just delivering the sys01 info stealer, which is used in order to enable account takeovers on the Meta platforms. But to learn more about this sys01 info stealer, we will look over a dynamic analysis graph. And I'm not sure how much of this graph you see in the whole, but I will guide you through it. And the promise application in this case is not Netflix, but instead it's Telegram Premium. But the story behind it is the same. So the installer, telegrampremium.exe, just starts another process after finishing the install, basically, which is called telepray.exe. This is an Electron.js application that just launches a PowerShell command which extracts a password-protected archive, using the wzip.exe, which I'm sure actually that you don't see it, but trust me. And this archive, in fact, contains both a PHP interpreter and some encoded PHP files, which are encoded with the Ionuț loader, actually, with the final step of it being ran by the RHC. You can see in the right side there's a rhc.exe, which is a run hidden command line executable. And maybe on this screen we will see better what happens. So there it is, the wzip.exe, which extracts the malicious PHP interpreter and scripts, using also the command line argument, -p, and the password. We can also see the location of the Electron app, which doesn't even resemble any Telegram application, so it's called like my Electron app, simple as that. And we can also see I'd say the final malicious command line, which is that run hidden command line executable, which in fact launches the final, I'd say, payload in this case, which is index.php. But going back to our account takeover story, how are these stolen accounts used? So another detail of interest is exactly what they do after. So usually, the stolen accounts are used to spread malicious content that basically perpetuates the phenomenon and leads to more victims. And as examples, we first have a Facebook page that impersonates the Midjourney software. I'm sure you've kind of all heard of it. It generates images based on prompts. And also, the second image on the bottom side is a YouTube video that spreads malicious software while actually promising free or cracked software. The hijacked accounts can also be used to spread financial scams, such as fake investments or selling phantom products. And I think we've also seen this story yesterday, exactly in the same place. So DefCamp had some pretty cool presentations on this side. And in this example image, we have a stolen account that is verified, so it has a trust element tied to it, distributing a financial scam using the image of Ursula von der Leyen, well, the president of the European Commission. Therefore, by stealing an account that is both popular and trusted, threat actors also gain access to a considerable victim pool. But before we begin to learn about YouTube account takeovers, I'd like to know if any of you have seen your content creators on YouTube get hacked. Please raise your hand if you did. Okay, that's plenty of accounts that have been hacked, and that's really unfortunate. But in what follows, we will learn how to both spot signs of compromise and how to actually protect ourselves against any unfortunate events. So, having described what account takeovers are, we can just move on to the platform of interest, YouTube. And it is rather obvious that the phenomenon is quite present on this platform, as many content creators relate how they have been hacked in the past. Some examples of content creators that have shared the experience are Drew Binsky, Vermax, Linus Tech Tips, and I'm almost sure that you have seen this case. It was really famous and really covered in the media, I think in March of last year. We also have David Bumble, which is a security content creator, and the Corridor Crew. And let's start by analyzing a frequent way in which YouTubers end up being hacked. It seems that most YouTubers get hacked after receiving a partnership or sponsorship offer by email. In these offers, so-called contracts are listed for downloading on file-sharing platforms. Looking at the example image, we can see that the author mentions to download the contract from the Dropbox file-sharing platform, while also sharing a password for the archive. Well, that's never a good sign, actually. So archives that are password protected usually are so that they avoid being scanned when uploading to these file-sharing platforms. And as the email was written well, and it's not really uncommon for YouTubers to receive sponsorship offers, the creators end up downloading the contracts on their own computers. The surprise is that these contracts are masquerading as PDFs, while they are, in fact, executables. Taking advantage of the fact that not everyone turns on the setting that shows extensions while listing files in Windows Explorer. After opening the contract, people reported that nothing happened, or that's at least what they thought. In reality, they just executed an info stealer that in a couple of seconds might have already sent sensitive information to the servers of the criminals. Info-stealer malware is really common in these kinds of scenarios because it can do its job really quick. So it gathers credentials, cookies, tokens, and personal identifiable information in a couple of seconds. Then it exfiltrates the data while already cleaning up the signs of malicious activity. Because the browsers store the cookies locally, once your system is compromised, the sky is the limit. The hackers can obtain your YouTube session tokens by just querying an SQLite database. This is the case of Mozilla. I'm sure like Google Chrome has some precautions done. It encrypts the data, but I've just recently seen a research that a hacker was actually able to decrypt the content of the SQLite database and just also have like plain text access to it. And in this case, the password of the account is not even necessary to do the login. So we don't even have to know the email, the password, or anything for that matter. And this implies the fact that not even multi-factor authentication will help. In the last years, malware as a service has become something usual in the threat landscape. For example, even someone with no skills regarding the creation of malware can just use stealers created by other dedicated groups, such as Nova Sentinel. On the left, we have a slightly obfuscated JavaScript snippet in which we can see that the cookies from the Mozilla SQLite database, which I've shown earlier, so these cookies, are stored into an array. And on the right, we can see the special offers from the Nova Sentinel group. For only $7, you can buy a dedicated piece of malware along with support, bots, and also a graphical interface. With the credentials exfiltrated, the hackers can just inject the cookies into their own browser, either manually or just through automated means, which is mostly the case. And they can already start using the channels for malicious activities as the access is instant. And another possibility for the threat actors is that they actually sell the data for higher prices or for huge amounts of YouTube accounts, let's say. They sell it on the dark web. And it's not uncommon at all to see posts that mention YouTube tokens being sold. In the following demo, I'll show you how by just importing the cookies in a browsing session, you're already logged in to the YouTube account and can start changing its look. So first we navigate to the YouTube website and we can see that, just a moment, we are not logged in. This is the first browsing session. And just by using a simple extension called cookie editor, we can inject the, let's call it, stolen cookies, which we've seen earlier. And just by simply refreshing the page, we are already logged in to the YouTube account and also have access to every YouTube account that the victim was logged in. And we can now proceed to change the account. First, we will update the picture of the account with a logo I'm sure you know, so the DefCamp logo. And we will actually update the description to streamjacking at DefCamp Bucharest. After publishing the changes and just going to the front page of the account, just in a second, so right now, we can see that the changes were already made. So we have the DefCamp logo, and we also have the account description streamjacking at DefCamp Bucharest. So that's only done by simply importing the cookies into any anonymous browsing session. After the accounts have been compromised, we can already start talking about streamjacking. We can define streamjacking as the hijacking of the YouTube channel followed by the broadcast of live streams that propagate cryptocurrency giveaway scams. And on the right, we can see several malicious broadcasts that were running in parallel, trying to scam the audiences of the stolen channels. And this was quite a big campaign. I think it was last year in December, so just almost a year from now. They were all using the image of Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy in order to give the idea of trust. But yeah, unfortunately, the audience was only going to get scammed. But before we get into the specifics of streamjacking, I'd like to share some numbers on the phenomenon. Following a prolonged period of analysis by our Bitdefender Labs team, we have identified more than 10,000 malicious live streams, with nearly 6,500 channels being stolen. And moreover, we have observed more than 300 malicious domains used by the threat actors to scam the victims. And the biggest channel discovered by us that was being used for streamjacking had over 12 billion views. Yeah, that's like the population of the Earth 1.5 times. And these 12 billion views were spread over 55,000 videos, and the channel also had 28 million subscribers. So stealing such a large channel gives malicious actors the access to an audience that some of us could only dream of. Once the hijacking starts, the hackers proceed to change the YouTube account in order to impersonate well-known figures, such as Tesla, SpaceX, and so on. In this picture, the channel still had elements that pointed to the actual owner. So they are blurred, but the channel banner, the channel description, social media links, so that's a Facebook page, and all of the blurred videos on the bottom side are actually tied to the original owner of the account before it was hacked. After a couple of minutes, the channel gets completely transformed so that it doesn't leave any trace of the owner. All videos and playlists are either deleted or set to private, and the channel avatar, banner, and description will get changed so that they represent the impersonated entity, which in this case is SpaceX. And in this interval, the live stream is also boosted with fake viewers to make it look more legitimate. Usually, the live streams are just old broadcasts of the impersonated entities, like normal discussions, official announcements, keynotes, and so on. Some variations even include countdowns until the event begins. The hackers will embed deepfakes at a given point that mention a huge crypto giveaway, in which the audience can double its holdings. Furthermore, the audience is instructed to either scan a QR code that appears on the screen, which is like blurred on the top or on the bottom left side of the video, and by either scanning the code or just clicking a link in the commentaries on the right side, the victim lands on the website of the cyber criminals. Another fact worth mentioning is that if the comment section is enabled, the hijackers will either only allow specific accounts to comment or will drastically limit the number of potential commenters by setting unreasonable periods for which the user has been subscribed. Yeah, so such as 52 years in the case of the first image, and as a fun fact, back then the YouTube creators were not even born. By doing this, it is impossible for people that are aware of the scam to comment and alert the community. But to understand the procedure more thoroughly, I'll just let Elon describe it to you.
Let me explain again how it works. You scan the QR code that you see on the screen of the YouTube broadcast. Go to our official website, make a deposit in cryptocurrency. It can be Bitcoin or Ethereum. After the deposit, you will receive back on your wallet an amount twice as much as your deposit. It's simple and fast. For example, send at least 0.1 Bitcoin or 1 Ethereum, Solana, or Dogecoin. And in a few minutes, your balance will return already with 0.2 Bitcoin or 2 Ethereum. Do not forget to scan the QR code right now. It is on the screen, and this is your chance to double your crypto assets.
So I'm not sure how much the Bitcoin values right now, but 0.1 BTC is maybe almost $10,000, I think. So yeah, if you only send $10,000, you're going to get back $20,000, or at least that's what Elon says in this case. I'm sure pretty much all of you have figured that this is a deepfake, and well, while you watch it on a big screen and you'll have all of the skepticism that security practitioners have, imagine seeing this on a small screen or just hearing the voice of Elon in this case, and I think that it would look legitimate. So you've seen that deepfakes play a crucial role in getting the trust of the audience. Therefore, by having undetectable samples is in the favor of the threat actors. However, that's not always the case. The next example is a poor deepfake that might even aid the audience to figure out that the broadcast is a scam.
This event is a celebration of Bitcoin and its community. It's about education, participation, and the shared belief in a financial system that is open to everyone. We're here to guide you through this process and make your entry into Bitcoin as seamless and rewarding as possible. Thank you once again for being part of this journey with us. Let's make this event a milestone in the history of Bitcoin.
So I think everyone could figure out that this is a really bad example of a deepfake. So there were a lot of unnatural hand movements. The lip sync wasn't that great. I'd say that Michael Saylor was pretty static in his chair. So all of the signs point out that this is a really bad deepfake, and you would most likely not click the link unless you're a security researcher or just a curious person overall. Not again, please. One more worthy detail is that these broadcasts are in line with well-known events that are taking place at the same time. In this example, we can see a malicious live stream that is using the Apple keynote on the 9th of September in order to scam the audience of a stolen channel with 200,000 subscribers. And we can also see that there are 89,000 viewers and over 8,000 likes. Also, the broadcast has been live for only 54 minutes at the moment of the screenshot. It's not really uncommon to see live streams that go on for a couple of hours until the account gets banned. But there have been cases in which live streams went on for more than 24 hours until they were stopped. Other examples of events that are being used to confuse the victims are Tesla Model launches, SpaceX launches such as IFT3 or Polaris Dawn, the resignation of Changpeng Zhao from the position of the Binance CEO, trials of the Ripple cryptocurrency with SEC in the USA, the launch of the Bitcoin ETF, US election, and eventually the arrest of Pavel Durov, Telegram CEO, which happened a couple of months in France. Once the victim reaches the scam website, so if you scan the QR code, you land on this kind of a website, and you are instructed to participate in the giveaway. Some of the websites even have support chats, like in this case, in which you could theoretically ask for information. The websites are decently looking and are quite persuasive. Depending on the template that's being used for that website, there might be multiple crypto wallets that the hackers use to steal the cryptocurrencies. The websites even presents fake but generated transactions to trick the victims into giving away their money. So we can see that we have like 4 options to get scammed in this case. It's either a BTC, Ethereum, Solana, and Dogecoin. Having seen so many of these screenjacking events, so over 10,000 right now, we started to wonder who is actually behind this phenomenon. We reached the conclusion that there are multiple groups involved, either directly or indirectly. And we assume that each group specializes in parts of the phenomenon, such as social engineering, creating the malware that's to be delivered, that steals the tokens, selling the compromised credentials, creating the deep fakes that are used, so either the relatively good one with Elon Musk or the obvious one with Michael Saylor, and even hijacking the YouTube accounts to broadcast these malicious streams. However, one group that stood out is the one selling the infrastructure for the fake giveaway domains. We discovered this distinct group while investigating one of the websites you've seen earlier, and it was observed that trying to either save the page or just to open the DevTools led the user to a different page in which the threat group advertised the services of automatic installation of crypto scam domains. The group calls itself CryptoCore, and while the company ClearSky has mentioned the existence of a group called CryptoCore back in 2020, it's not clear if it is the same one that we are seeing here. That's because this group advertises crypto scam website infrastructure, while the one analyzed by ClearSky seems to specialize in hacking cryptocurrency exchanges. And the advertisement even pointed to a Telegram bot, so the process is fully automated, I'd say, that offered more details. and they weren't at all afraid to display their capabilities, given how long this phenomenon has been plaguing YouTube. While playing with the Telegram bots, we can see that they offer no less than 48 templates, each using the image of either a popular person, a crypto coin, or either a famous company, such as Tesla, SpaceX, Twitter, and so on. And in the second and third images, we can see their advertisements made on a Russian forum, in which they talk about their capabilities of deploying crypto scam websites in a matter of minutes, while also offering custom statistics and configurable crypto wallets in which the victims can send their money. A funny encounter that we had was when an actor actually shared the screen of the used phone. So he was conducting the live stream from a phone, from an Android phone actually, and while sharing the screen, we have observed someone from a country in Southeast Asia calling. We have also seen the weather broadcast for a location in the same country, and this led us to believe that the live streaming process might actually be outsourced to individuals from this region. Now that we know something about who might be behind this phenomenon, along with valuable details about how YouTube channels are getting hacked and used for streamjacking, it would be valuable to also know how to protect and prevent such events in our case. We recommend double-checking the authors of every mail that mentions a sponsorship or a partnership, while also taking extra skeptical measures and using open source intelligence techniques when possible. It is mandatory to not overshare personal information, and that we never install software distributed to suspicious emails or file-sharing platforms if we do not know the source. And if needed, we can also use checksums to both validate that the files that are downloaded are legitimate and to find information about them on analysis platforms. Regarding how to detect such events, one of the easiest things to do is to look out for generic elements. So there was a slide earlier in which there were like 6 broadcasts of Michael Saylor doing the same scam over and over again. I'd say to look out for video thumbnails, such as the ones on this slide, and for avatars and banners that impersonate well-known entities. Text elements are also really important. So the title and the description of the broadcasts are typically repetitive and vague, while the channel name and handle can indicate whether a takeover is still in progress. So that would mean the name is changed to Tesla or to SpaceX or so on, or has been finished. And a great detail that might give away the stolen channel is the fact that they have no videos or no playlists. In this example, we can see a channel that has only one live stream, which is certainly strange, as it has 45,000 subscribers. It's also common for the stolen channels to have handles that are rather irregular. And we can see that all of the examples either have dashes, random numbers, or just repetitive words in them, such as live, web, or news. Also, community posts are difficult to automate to be deleted, and therefore, channels that resemble well-known entities but have posts about unrelated subjects are most likely stolen. And in this case, Tesla is really asking us who would you say is more hated or more evil in the Red Dead Redemption 2 game? So that's clearly something out of topic and indicates us that the channel has been stolen and repurposed. And also, a great practice is also to look for the channel ID on search engines. And if you do not know how to get the channel ID, there's a button like under the channel description, which leads you to this window. And by clicking Share Channel, you can copy the channel ID and search it on every search engine that you use. And by doing this, you have to look for cached results. So if you search for this channel, which is Tesla US, or so it says, any cached results would actually point out to the real identity of the victim, thus confirming that the channel has been compromised. And another thing that you could do is to always stay up to date. We at Bitdefender blogs write regularly about the latest threats, including streamjacking and malvertising. Having reached the conclusions, we could say that streamjacking is not really going away too soon. Threat actors are adapting to every protective measure that the platforms are taking. And one of the best ways to stay protected is to always be skeptical and double-check any information or offers that we receive. And also, probably the most important, educating and informing the potential victims is also a strong measure that we can take. By spreading information about the streamjacking phenomenon, we can save creators from future hacks. So thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to take any questions that you might have.
Thank you so much, Ionuț. In one moment, we'll take a couple of questions. There's one here.
Hello. I'm curious about the protection of cookies because from my experience, I know that, let's say, a basic WAF could track cookies. So if I'm logging to YouTube, a WAF would see the server response with a set cookie and keep that cookie linked to my IP. So if there is a IP-based protection, I mean, it's pretty basic and YouTube is not doing this?
That's a great question, and I guess we all have the expectations from the platforms to really check the IPs when requests are made with the cookies. In this case, it seems that the threat actors are actually quite smart, so when they basically breach your system or when they compromise the credentials, they also get your IP, and when using the cookies to log into the account, they are trying to use residential proxies that are really close to your location. So while not using the same IP address, they try to blend in and to enter your account from locations that are not really an anomaly, let's say.
Okay, and this could be plausible because maybe you have a YouTube on browser, on computer, on mobile phone, and maybe they are in the same geographic location, and you have the same session linked to multiple IPs from that zone. I don't know. Anyway, thank you.
So I'm not sure if you had any further questions.
No.
Sorry?
No.
Okay, thank you. That's a great question. It was a great question.
Hey, it's a great presentation, by the way. I absolutely loved it. One question I do have, though, regarding the streamjacking cases that you talked about, what is YouTube's average response time in maybe detecting and shutting down those live streams, or maybe for a while banning those accounts?
So I spoke a bit about this. Sometimes you see the live stream going away in 1 or 2 minutes, so it doesn't stay up for long. But I'd say that in the majority of the cases, it ends up being on YouTube for 1 or 2 hours. After that, really unfortunately, most of the accounts get banned. So even if in the case of Linus Tech Tips, the account was banned before it could be recovered, but the creators that have, let's say, huge audiences and big numbers of subscribers manage to communicate with YouTube and recover their accounts. But to further answer the question, we've also seen live streams that went up for 26 or 27 hours. So it's really a matter of how the platforms are adapting to the changes of the threat actors, because even though there are a lot of repetitive elements, they are basing their live streams on trends, on events that happen in the current period, and they manage to evade the detection in some cases.
Great, thank you.
Thank you as well.
Questions? I saw one there.
Thank you for the talk. It was very interesting. Do you have any estimation how big the volume of this business is? Did you ever...
Sorry, could you speak a bit louder?
Okay. So do you have any estimations about the volume of this kind of business? So did you follow any blockchain addresses to see if there were made any payments or like that?
In the second article that we've come up with about streamjacking, we tried to analyze the blockchain wallets that were posted on the websites. And even though the analysis wasn't that in depth, we've managed to get up to the numbers between $400,000 and $700,000, and that was really depending on the minimum and maximum values of Ethereum and Bitcoin at that brief period of time. But we haven't done an analysis on more than 300 domains that we've processed until right now.
Thank you very much.
It even gets more complicated because the actors are not just using wallets for in and out transactions. They are using mixers. They are passing small sums between lots of wallets and so on. So the analysis is quite complicated.
Hi there. Thank you for the talk. It was great. Apart from CryptoCore, have you managed to observe and attribute some other threat groups that were participating in this, or could it be that it's only Crypto, like the big mastermind behind, and they just use hackers for hire for the stealing accounts part?
So besides this group that was like being quite obvious about their service on the domains that we've seen, we haven't actually managed to do any attribution regarding any step of the process. Our opinion on this is that the process could be really mixed. So in some cases, it might be only one threat group that's doing it. Well, even like the threat actor that sells the domains might do this for a part of their revenue. And mostly we'd say that it's just basically a kind of scenario in which lots of malicious actors of any kind just come up and take part in this process in one step or another. So yeah, we haven't come up with any names regarding any other step of the process.
Thank you.
Thank you as well.